Today we're doing a unboxing of a really cool product. This is the Silverfire Hunter gasification stove. So I got excited like it was Christmas, to be completely honest, and I already opened it up. I put it back together as best I could. I don't think it does justice the intricacies of detail they put into the packaging. It was really quite incredible. And so without further ado, let's open it up a second time so you can get an idea of the quality that goes into this product. Okay, so this was ornately wrapped and then we kind of tore into it, but you get the idea. On top it had the accessory piece, which I think is vital, which is the stovetop plate. Very solid construction. And then everything, if you can't notice, it's quite small. I'm 6'3", so this is a very small product. It's perfect for tents, outdoor use. They claim it's for indoor use also, and so we will put that to the test and see how the smoke is. But I have seen, doing my research, I've seen that almost no emissions coming from this two-stage gasification process, which was really what got the appeal for me, seeing that you could make that gasification occur. Comes with 4 chimney pieces, all stacked together. You've got your, well, this is part of the original piece I had shown you, the stovetop. Helps you get it out, I believe. And then they've got their pamphlets, which are very informative. I'll show you a blow-up of that sometime. And then the operation manual. And then their small elbow piece, which you could do the larger elbow if you wanted to do larger pots on top. When you're using a stove, you want to have water be heated as much as possible so that you can capture that heat for later on, like a battery. And here's the stove itself. This one came with a small dent on it. They could have done a little better probably on the packaging on the very outside, maybe made the box a little bigger. But for what I'm doing, I don't really care. And for the price of the stove, it's not a big deal. But we'll buff that out and it'll be fine. The product has what appears to be galvanized steel on the bottom, which you want to kind of stay away from. So we're going to pre-burn it outside. Let it burn for a while and burn off some of the toxins associated with these metals from the first burn. I've already put some paper in this, which I don't feel so bad burning because of the gasification involved. It's quite efficient, better than going at a landfill and sitting there for years. These 4 pieces were inside of each other, so it came out like a Russian doll. And this is the elbow. Very simple assembly, which if you wanted to make it more permanent, you would probably want to have some, well, I'm not sure. We'll have to ask the manufacturer, but two, really simple. They're numbered to 4 and ready to light it. Let's not waste any time. The idea behind this stove is that the first burn is forced downward. We need a better lighter. I might need to get a better lighter. The idea behind this type of stove is that it burns the first layer of gasification downward, which makes for a tricky start. Having only one hand to film, this is a pain in the butt. So I would guess when you first start indoors, you want to make sure that you have the door open for this part. This is the part where it's just, let's see. Yeah. This is the part where you would experience smoke, but after that, it's a clean burn. Here comes the pipe chimney. It's already going upwards. It gets into its mode right away. Let's take a peek, which I normally wouldn't do, I would guess, but let's take a peek. It's just slowly burning. Gonna let it burn. As soon as I close it, there's no smoke. Very nice. On a cold day like this, you'll see more smoke because it's cold. But you can see, even on a cold day, there's very few emissions coming out of the worst part of it, the business end. And let's open her up after about a minute of it. Oh, pretty hot pan already. Okay, see all that smoke that wants to come out, but it doesn't when that cover's on there. I'm really impressed with a slow burn. It's a slow burn. Starting at the top and working your way down. You know, something about slow burns is the efficiency goes way up. And just from opening that, it started smoking a lot, so it's got to get back to equilibrium. But honestly, I'm really impressed with that. You think you want to see a big flame, but you actually want to see that. It's just self-contained. You know, you would almost think it wasn't lit, but it's actually quite warm. And it's just, the thing about efficiency is, the more of a trickle it is, the more efficient you really are. So I'm really quite impressed. I'm really quite impressed with this. Yep. So you can see it's boiling hot. This is just damp paper. So that's like the most smoky you're ever going to see it on a cold day. I would say on a regular day you might not even see the smoke. If it was regular material, like we're going to use pellets, which I think are perfect for this. And you can see, I'll let the smoke clear when you lift it. It's not going through the gasification process once you open it. But I would say we're, you know, it's been half an hour and we are halfway through just a handful, enough damp paper as I could stuff in it. And we're still going strong. Zero smoke as soon as I close the cover. That's incredible. So the reason I'm so impressed is because the slower the burn, the more efficient the burn. If you can go half an hour on a bundle of paper, like just a fistful of paper, I should say, that means it's really getting a quality burn in. And so, having worked at a cook stove lab, the chimney effect is the most efficient way in general for thermodynamics to take its best hold on the system, which is this chimney plus the stovetop fire. But this is almost like a double or triple chimney effect. I'm not sure, but it takes the burn and it almost turns it into that gaseous fuel, and just like sucks out all the energy from it. If this was burning all at once, I wouldn't be impressed. It'd be fun to watch, but this lets me know that this design's doing the right thing for maximizing your economy. All right, look at the smoke coming out of that now. Almost none. It's really efficient. What I have here is some snow that I've just thrown on there. And we're going to melt this snow and turn it into water. We're going to filter that, run it through a distiller, turn it into clean water. So the goal of the pilot project is to charge electric vehicles off grid in a sustainable way, to create oasis in the desert like this steppe climate which we're in, and allow for people to live out here in the beauty and splendor of it, and allow for you to thrive out here, while contributing to the environment by way of reducing the carbon footprint. So this snow is going to melt. We're going to filter it again, run it through a distiller, turn it into the cleanest water you've ever seen. And in the future, we're going to also borrow that heat energy that's being produced from solar, wind, biomass, etc. And of course, all of this being built on the chgcoin.org website, which is developing a cryptocurrency that runs it all. So building infrastructure everywhere in a sustainable way that's peaceful to the environment, permits for us to be out here, charge electric vehicles, and do so in a way that we can give to our children. All right, let's find out why they call them fire breathers. That's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, so next we have the Sportsman's outdoor wood burning stove, tent stove. This one's a lot heavier than the first one, and this one does not use the gasification technology. It's more of a refined, traditional wood burning stove. So let's open this up. Okay, you can see they use styrofoam around the outside. Came with a manual on the bottom. And I like this rustic front door. Well, that's a little questionable. That needs to be glued back on. Not a big deal, but not ideal. Similar concept. It comes with, looks like a few more pokers than the other one. A lot more rigid stovepipes. You can see this one's kind of leaning over. It is cooking, by the way. I don't know if you saw it rocking back and forth. There is fuel going through it, and it is exhausting, but you may or may not even be able to see the smoke. So, that's everything. So, similar concept. You got the stackable stovepipes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of which has a damper, which the other one lacks. And it comes with some legs, so we'll put some legs on it. And there's that poker. Oh, it's upside down. And all right, so we'll put this one together, let you know what we think side by side. Okay, at this point, our Silver Fire stove is still not making very much smoke, and it actually looks like it's dead. But if I look at its shadow, I can still see some exhaust coming out. So it is a slow smolder at this point. Again, very efficient. Now, onto this one. What was it called? The Gear Guide. The Gear Guide wood stove. I can tell you right now, this one's gonna burn a lot hotter and a lot faster and a lot less efficient, but let's see how she does. I'll let you see the fire. So this one's not for indoor use at all. You can still use it in a tent, like designed for that, because they're open air and they've got lots of oxygen coming in. This one we'll probably keep outside and use to boil the snow, because it's just like, it's still a really small stove, but it is just not as efficient as the other one. So this one will be more for the power, and the other one will be more for the efficiency. You can see already there's a lot more smoke coming out of that one, but it's light. It was really easy to light. Oh, it just burned me a little touching it. Close that up. Got some dampers here, dampers there, and it's already boiling hot. Yeah, this thing is better, just different applications, I suppose. So we're gonna move over to this. See how she does. Okay, I think I figured it out. The third gasification, well, I don't see it right now, but when it gets really hot, there are these holes, and they push gas back into the first chamber again. That's 3-step gasification. So, I guess my takeaway is, one is really efficient. They're both going full speed right now, by the way. One's really efficient. The other gets a lot hotter, so it just depends on your application. But I'm really quite impressed overall with the silver. I think that double and even triple gasification technology really goes a long way. As you can see, the exhaust is what makes all the difference. Cleaner air, it's just what it's all about. So exploring the idea of the silver, I think that idea needs to be embraced by the off-grid community, because it's just a better technology. The silver with the hot plate put me back $310, whereas the guide gear only cost $110, so that's something also to consider. The one on the left is a tried and tested technology that's been perfected over the years, and the one on the right is kind of a newer technology that continues to get better. Both have their purposes. I would recommend both of them for certain applications, but the one on the right, the silver, definitely takes the cake. So there's this great YouTube channel that I follow called Mr. Teslonian, and one of the things he does, he talks about, he actually makes gasoline, I believe, with a refinery. And this reminds me of that. Woo! So this is actually, if you look down deep in there, you can see it's gasifying back into the first chamber. And that permits for it to maximize the energy efficiency of the stove. Pretty cool. Gasification, second chamber back into the first, makes for 3-stage gasification. This stove also does a great job of demonstrating auto combustion. The dark smoke is replaced by clear smoke when I open it as it cools down. My suspicion is the dark smoke is related to that gas. I had mentioned the gasification process, producing the gas and then instantly burning it. So you'll see that it burns black when it's in this first chamber, but actually when it goes out the exhaust, it's clear again, because that also gets burned in the process. But when you open it up, a little bit of it obviously gets out. Sorry, not gasoline. Gasoline is probably a much more refined fuel, but a fuel such as methane can come out of it, or oh gosh, I gotta look up the word. So the fuel is polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which is just oh, did you see it? It just auto combusted. This stove does a great job doing that. Anyway, these gasifiers, they produce methane and the aforementioned. I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to try to say it again. But that's basically what that means, is just a complex chain of hydrogen and carbon. So these gasification produces polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are basically just complex chains of hydrogen and carbon. Just an amazing fuel source, and one that is renewable if you use a 3-stage gasifier like this one, or you can also reduce it in a way that you can store the energy later, as Mr. Teslonian goes over. But boy, that's hot. You can see all sorts of first chamber gasification going on, or burning of the gasified fuel right off. Yeah, just like those dinosaurs of old, you've heard the lore, the plant matter, what have you, of ancient times decomposing into what they refine into gasoline. But this is a faster route to get to a biofuel. A very interesting prospect, especially if you incorporate steam. So after using the Silverfire Hunter stove for about a year, I don't recommend it for indoor use. The reason being that elbow on the back starts to deteriorate. We had a couple times where we had to do an emergency dump of the stove, just throw the whole thing out the window basically, because it got so smoky in there. If you're going to have it indoors, you definitely need to have a very sophisticated fume hood. Just simply having a window or a door open is not enough. I would actually recommend instead the Guide Gear outdoor wood burning stove. It's a more traditional burn. It's just more, it's just an older design, older style design that's tried and tested. Those gaskets would need to be improved for, as you saw, they're falling off for indoor use. Between the two, the reliability of the Guide Gear outdoor wood burning stove is just better after a year. I was still impressed with the Hunter Silverfire Hunter stove. I see their prices drop since to $240, so it's a little more reasonable price. It's definitely a more efficient burn. But between the two, I like the much cheaper $149 Guide Gear outdoor wood burning stove after doing a 1-year durability test.